You're listening to Supervision with a Vision, where we discuss all things supervision. I'm your host, Sarah, professional counselor, marriage and family therapist, play therapist, eating disorder specialist, and cookie lover, with my co-host, Heather, marriage and family therapist, certified Together in Texas counselor, a Texas transplant from California, and outdoor adventurer. Hi, welcome to Supervision with a Vision. Today, Heather and I are talking about the way that we use to-do lists. This week we read, Are Your To-Do Lists Torturing You? Published in Psychology Today, 2024. Heather, are you a big to-do list person?
Apparently, because I've gotten lots of gifts.
Oh, really? Yeah.
That are blank to-do lists.
Like ones that you've liked?
I mean, they've been fine.
Yeah.
I kind of created my own to-do list, like my own way that I laid out for when I really have to, I have too many things and I have to get too many things done.
Okay. So you sound like a to-do list person.
I guess.
I like to-do lists. That's why I'm asking if you have a good one that you like. I have an app on my phone that lets me create a to-do list. It lets me create to-do lists within to-do lists. So I can have several to-do lists that I'm working on at the same time. And I really like that when you mark something off the list, it makes a nice noise.
Yes.
Like a little...
I do love that.
And then I've had other ways that I do to-do list.
I feel like recently there's been a lot of newer apps out, some geared more towards like teenagers and completing tasks and like getting kind of like rewarded some kind of way if you cross things off your to-do list. I've never found it effective for me to put it in a phone. I have no idea why. I have to have the piece of paper that I can literally like take my marker and like cross it off.
Well, there is something really nice to that, marking it off. It's been a while now, but I was being told to use a like software.
Okay.
Which I didn't like being told, so I was being stubborn and didn't use it very much. But it did have some features that I liked.
Okay.
So there's a lot of software out there too that could help you with that. But I do like marking something off. That's kind of nice. Okay, so the article says that constantly thinking about to-dos is really stressful. So I think the point of a to-do list would be to help you. But this article is saying that there's some adverse effect to having a to-do list and thinking about the things on your list.
I think I agree and disagree. So for me, when I have lots of things going on, there is something about making the to-do list that helps me organize my thinking. But then I will say it probably is detrimental that then you're thinking about all those individual things that you've just laid out. Like it could be even more overwhelming to see it on paper.
Is it like, would you say, I think it's like developmentally around fourth grade, like 10-year-olds, where teachers are trying to get kids to implement something like that.
Right.
And that, I hated that too. Well, same thing. I haven't changed.
Someone was making you do it.
I haven't changed since fourth grade, apparently. That somebody was making me do it. And and when you're that age, they're doing a lot of hand holding.
Yes.
So you write what they ask you to write.
Right. And then the teacher checks it off the next morning that you wrote it correctly.
Right. Yeah. Or like there's some involvement with parents. The parents look at it. The parent has to mark that they looked, all these checks and balances.
Right.
I hated that.
Yeah. I mean, even as a parent, when my kids have brought those home, I hated it then.
Yeah.
I mean,
I do think ultimately it must have worked because now I use to-do lists pretty effectively, but I didn't like that back then.
There was a time when we'd been in our house maybe like a year and a half, 2 years. And when we moved in, there was lots of things we knew we were going to get to, like updates about different things, like, oh, we're going to update the kitchen countertops, whatever. So at some point in time, I went around in our house, and in every room I had a Post-it note with like the things that needed to be done in that room. And then at the end I was really excited to tell my husband there was 81 things to do, and I think like his face like fell to the floor. Like,
exactly.
What?
Yes.
Like, no, like 81 things. And I was like, I mean, if it's like a dream list of like everything I could do. And to me, I was like, yay, I have this like focus now. And he was like, are you kidding me? Take those down. Like, he was like, it stresses me to see them on the doors. Please take them down.
I mean, I can kind of picture you doing that, walking in, and he's already like got a screwdriver
Right.
doing something, and he's like, 81.
81? You counted?
Yeah. So constantly thinking about or having a reminder of the to-dos
Right.
is stressful.
Right.
So him asking to take the Post-its off.
He's like, please take them.
He agrees. He
Yeah.
agrees with what's okay, the second point is that the same stress that you feel actually thinking about doing it can be caused by a to-do list.
Oh, sure.
So that's the same. Like physical reaction.
Mm-hmm. Think about, I recently had to call and explain to someone that they billed me incorrectly.
Mm-hmm.
Like, sure, it was going to benefit me monetarily that they billed it wrong and I was going to get it fixed. And I kind of knew my argument, I was going to win. But the thought of doing that and engaging with one more person or being on hold or whatever.
Yeah, that task.
I was like, oh, and literally the stress was like eating away at me until I actually had to face it and do it.
Mm-hmm.
But it really, I mean, I carried the stress of that for more than a week.
Mm.
Like, I got to call this person and deal with this. And like, oh, I don't want to.
Did you use a marker and mark it off the list?
I think I did. But you know what? That might have been something I'm notorious for this too. I will add something to the list that I did that then I can cross it off. Like, it wasn't on the list, but it happened in the process.
Yeah. This makes me think of, I actually still have one. I really enjoyed it once I figured out how to use it more effectively for myself. But this like really kind of expensive, I don't know, agenda.
Okay.
Hardback, like hard copy, not a app.
Right.
And it had in the front a year-long calendar, and then it would have
like each month and then week.
And in between the pages, it would have a week, and in between the week, it would have days.
Okay. Yeah.
So it broke it down. And the point was that you'd start out big picture and write some bigger long-term goals and like mark, I think I used it for quite a while, like 3 or 4 months. And it was so frustrating and overwhelming. I kept at it.
Trying to make it fit. Like, I'm going to do this.
Well, because I also bought pretty pens.
Right.
And,
to make
this was going to be, so I'm going to stick with this thing. And it was so overwhelming. And there was part of it worked in that at the end of a week, there was a page or at least half a page or something of room for reflection.
Sure.
So you would reflect on, okay, I was effective in this week, or this went well this week. And I kept writing. I didn't get anything done. I didn't get anything done, but I was filling up those pages with colorful writing and
doodles and
and I realized the reason I wasn't getting anything done, maybe kind of like your list where you're adding things to it and marking off, was that I literally was filling up every single page
and like making sure it was lined. Yeah.
Well, it wasn't necessarily my goal to fill up the page, but every line was filled with something that I was going to do. And some of those things were just so trivial or non-important, but because they were easier, like laundry. I'd do the laundry because it was on the list and then I'd mark it off, but I was leaving a billing problem.
Right. You're leaving something bigger that you need to look at.
And so I went, okay, I'm not going to fill up all the lines.
Right.
I'm going to emphasize more this section of the page that asks you, what are your 3 goals? If that's the part I'm really going to focus on, what are the 3 goals? And so you could, if you look back, if you flipped through that agenda, you could see that at first it was like heavy with ink. And then maybe halfway through, you could see like there's drastically less writing.
Right.
But it started to be more effective. And instead of feeling overwhelming and like, oh, my list is so long, and look, it just feels like my list just grows every week instead of getting shorter. It's just getting longer and longer. It actually started feeling like it was getting shorter, like I was making progress. But the way that I was using that was so overwhelming.
Yeah. It kind of brings some like dread to even seeing it there, like it's waiting for you.
What about, so the same stress that we feel thinking about or doing the task can be recreated by the to-do list. When you made the list about the house, and your husband was like, oh my gosh, please don't.
That's stressful.
Do you think there's something to you making the list for you? Like if someone made a list for you.
Yeah, that would feel yucky, right?
Or if you, you didn't mean to. You
Right.
meant you were making a list for both of you, but
Uh-huh.
maybe he
He
felt
went, oh my
like
gosh,
it
I
was
have to
his
do it.
list,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
That feels different.
I think it
Mm-hmm.
does. Just like someone telling you, you need to use this way.
Mm-hmm.
One of my kiddos does not process well, like writing in an agenda or writing things down.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not the way his brain thinks.
Mm-hmm.
But even in that, he's very visual. So he had a teacher at some point in time say, hey, you can take pictures of the agenda. And so he would take a picture of what was on the wall and then make that into his document on his computer.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what he does instead of like writing it down. And he's just learned a system that worked for him
Yeah.
because now I will say some teachers aren't happy about that,
Sure.
but it worked for him and that teacher and it kind of stuck
Yeah.
because it, for him, he likes it on a screen and he likes to be able to check it off and like it disappears and
Mm-hmm.
that helps him. So.
Huh. Well, cool that teacher could be flexible and
Yeah, but not all teachers are flexible.
no, they're
Sometimes you're just going to have to write it down.
well, and like my work example, not all bosses are flexible
Right.
either. So
Right.
you have to so we maybe are more comfortable when we get to do it our way, but we sometimes have to conform to someone else's way.
Well, and how often does that play out for us in supervision? Like, how many times? I think the thing that comes to the top of my head is when we're asking our supervisees or associates to face something or have a confrontation either with a parent or their boss, or maybe have to make like an abuse report and they don't want to because it sounds big and scary.
Yeah.
But it's
Yeah.
us saying,
You have to
you have to do it.
Mhm.
You have to do it. And did you do it? And you have to do it on this timeline.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I think that plays out.
Yeah. I think that I tried to ask them, here's how I would do it.
What would you do? Yeah.
What could, how can you get this done? It's hard though. I find that if I just say, how are you going to do this? They not all of them, but
Right.
some of them look at me kind of with a blank.
Right. You're going to tell me, right?
Whoa, I don't know. I don't even have, they don't have, not always have a frame of reference for how to do something like that. But then when I give them the way that I would do it,
Right.
I sometimes feel like they too quickly adopt.
Oh,
just
yeah.
Whatever.
Right. I'm going to do it Sarah's way, and it may not fit for them. Right.
I'm sure we've said this before, but it speaks to this also, that in theory classes in school, that overwhelmingly the percentage of students who take a theory class adopt the theory their teacher uses.
Right. I can see that. And I can see as a teacher, you're like, I'm not telling.
Right. I'm trying not to give you guys the hint. But that's hard.
Yeah, that's very hard.
Because even if you don't say it, the way that you talk or teach is slanted towards the way that you think.
Of course. Yeah.
But yeah, I think I try to do that, but it's really hard to be successful in that. Come up with your own way.
Right.
Don't do it my way. Yeah. Okay, so thinking about that if our to-do lists are sometimes stressful, if we can have the same kind of physical reaction from the list as actually doing things or thinking about the task, how can we shift the way that we use a to-do list to make it most effective or make it work the best for us? And the article is talking about how do we make a shift so that we can just accomplish the goal, which is the whole point, right, of the to-do list is get things done. Right.
I think sometimes it's good in the evening to reflect upon, like, what did you do today? And you're only focused, I don't care if that means you did one load of laundry or that you wrote a chapter for your novel. Like, what did you do in your day? Easily then gives you things you've accomplished. So the shift gets to be to what's already complete, not what's looming out there. Even though if you're in the middle of writing a book, there's many things that are.
I like to, instead of my long list that I could think up and create, which also part of making that long list, the problem was that I spent a lot of time.
Oh, sure. Writing the list.
Writing this really long list that I was never going to be able to accomplish. And then feeling frustrated that the list was so long and I wasn't accomplishing it. So my shift that I made that I feel like helps me be productive is that I prioritize 3 things for a day.
Okay.
And I tell myself, those aren't the only things that I imagine I might get done. But if I got those 3 big things done or 3 impactful things done, then I could reflect at the end of the day and say, it was productive. That was a productive day.
Right.
So like, unless there's like zero clean underwear,
Right. You
laundry,
can skip it.
laundry's
Yeah.
probably not going to make the most important list.
Right.
Because I'll have clean clothes tomorrow.
Right.
But does that mean that I might not fit in a load of laundry?
Sure.
Sure, I might.
Yeah.
But it's not feeling like the most
Right.
important thing. But maybe, I don't know, if I had like a dentist appointment, like, okay,
Dentist
that's
appointment's on the
scheduled
list.
today. That
Right.
doesn't happen very often. That is on the priority list. And so if I get that done and a couple other things, I'm going to tell myself,
That I completed.
I got important
Right.
stuff done today. So
Just
that
shifting,
helps me.
yeah, shifting the idea to what's done, or like seeing that there's steps, much like your
Mhm.
long planner with all the little bits and pieces, to just really focus on like,
Mhm.
yes, I did
Yeah.
this today. And that doesn't mean that there's not 4 or 5 more steps after that. It
Mhm.
just means that,
Yeah. I guess more mentally than on paper. On paper, my 3 priorities are written down. But that I do know that there's more to the to-do list. I'm just emphasizing or focusing on
right,
those 3 things, and then I'm going to
then
feel
you can go
really
better and move on.
accomplished,
Right.
or like, okay. And I think that, like I said, it doesn't always mean that it is the most important, but it could be the most pressing.
Sure.
Like if the dentist appointment is today, it's not tomorrow.
Right. You have to cut out time today to do this thing. Yeah.
So that helps me, and it helps me to keep moving forward and getting things
Sure.
completed.
Yeah.
Do you have any tricks that help you get things done?
I have tricks that I use at home with my kids to get things done.
Mm-hmm.
I give that, like when we're trying to get stuff like picked up around the house or trying to do chores or whatever, I try and give them like the if then. So like when your room is clean, then we can do this other thing. And so that they kind of can like pair an activity together.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think, one, it's a motivator, but also it's usually the benefit of the house being picked up. Yes, now we can have people over. We picked up the house. You can have friends over. Like things like that pair together, so they kind of see like maybe just checking something off a list is boring. But like when that's done, what happens next? Kind of getting that.
Like laundry.
Right.
That's why laundry's low on the priority list, because when I do it, what's going to happen? There will be more dirty clothes.
Right.
And
there will just be more laundry.
I have socks right now, so I don't really need it.
Right.
So it's not, it feels
pass on that.
less important. Not that it won't get done, but it's just going to be
right. It's not the priority.
less important.
Right.
So I like that, because that's kind of 2 different angles. I'm thinking about the feeling of accomplishment, and you're thinking what will be the next step or the reward. Because we accomplished this, we can move on to something else. Yeah. So there's lots of ways to look at it to help you feel like and make your to-do list more functional, but also more satisfying.
Right. I changed to-do lists completely for myself. I don't necessarily think that, I split it in my paper into 4 categories, and a few things are just me based, meaning there's nothing about anybody else. It's not work related. It's like me. And that might be like find time for a pedicure. Like it might be like something like that. That's just me on there, because that helps me balance like work, life balance. But I realized when I had the me corner, and I have like a house corner that's like house stuff. And then there's just a section that's kid stuff. And that could mean any of my children that need something. And then there's a work column for follow up with.
Yeah, I like that.
Just because I needed it to be visual and I needed to write it down on paper.
Well, like the long, forever growing to-do list. And the thing that, finds its way down to the bottom is a kid thing. And you're like,
sorry.
I do need to talk to that teacher.
Right.
And I can't keep finding its way
down to the bottom.
Right. That maybe when you have a lot going on, that's a way to prioritize also.
Right. And it makes you kind of look at each category, which means that you will find the balance, which is always my goal.
Well, thanks today for listening to Supervision with a Vision. Heather and I would love to hear about how you manage your to-do list, making you the most effective. And we would love to hear about ideas for future episodes. You've been listening to Supervision with a Vision. Head on over to iTunes to subscribe, rate, and leave a review. Be sure to check us out on Facebook and Instagram at Therapy Academy to join the conversation and get show notes. We'll be back next week with more Supervision with a Vision.